Hello and welcome to Mission Impactful, where we connect with local organizations as they share their mission to create a positive impact. Hi everyone, I'm Tara Tomczyk-Husak, President and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce and our nonprofit network, and most importantly, your host. First, I'd like to take a moment to thank our presenting sponsor, Trion Solutions. Stay tuned for our very first commercial break where you can learn how you can rely on Trion. So today, we have an amazing guest in front of us. So on Mission Impactful today, we are going to learn about an active volunteer-led nonprofit organization whose members raise funds and support a variety of programs within the Troy community. Today, we are meeting with Ann Comiskey, lifetime member of Troy Women's Association. Ann and her husband, Pat, have been married for over 55 years and have lived in Troy since 1975. They have one daughter, a son-in-law, and a granddaughter who also lives in Troy. She has a BA in English from the University of Michigan, go Blue, and a master's in guidance and counseling from Oakland University. She has worked as a caseworker for the Michigan Department of Social Services in Wayne and Oakland counties, as an adult education coordinator for Highland Park Public Schools, and most recently as the executive director of the Troy Community Coalition for the Prevention of Drug and Alcohol Abuse. Ann serves on the City of Troy Liquor Advisory Board and is the Family Education Committee Chair for Troy Youth Assistance. In her spare time, which I don't know how you have any at this point, she belongs to 2 book clubs, 2 knitting groups, and a stock club. In addition, I have to say she has also been a very active member of the Troy Chamber of Commerce and the nonprofit network, and I must give credit where credit is due. We wouldn't have this podcast without Ann, as she was the one who said, why don't we get a podcast for our nonprofit so we can help spread the message and increase the impact? So, Ann, I have to thank you for that, but thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Tara.
I also didn't know we were going to wear the same outfit today, but I'm very happy that we're twinning.
Yeah, we are.
But Ann, to get things started, can you tell us a little bit about the Troy Women's Association and how it got started?
Sure. We're actually an outgrowth of the Troy JCs, which we established ourselves in 1969. And then in 1985, when the JCs decided they wanted to allow women to join their group, our women's group said, no, we want to have our own group. So we formed the Troy Women's Association from what was prior to that, the Troy Women's, Troy JC Women. So in 2010, we actually became a 501c3, which allowed us to actually collect more dollars and money to spread in the community. And in 1971, we had our first and biggest fundraiser, and now the only fundraiser really, our Elf Shelf Arts and Crafts Show.
Nice. So I guess what types of projects, because if anyone goes to the website, there's a lot. And I think it's very funny that people may not know the substantial amount of impact you guys are making. But what are some of these amazing programs that Troy Women's Association is helping?
Well, we have probably 30 programs, and we like to say from cradle to grave.
Oh.
Because we do Adopt a Family, a Baby Basics Ministry, which allows people who need them the disadvantaged to get diapers and baby products. We have senior citizen projects where we help some of the seniors at Bethany Villas or other senior citizen facilities. And everywhere in between, a lot of our money goes to scholarships for graduating seniors and for also women who want to return to the workplace. So when we say we help from cradle to grave, we really do. From babies to high school kids and middle school kids and elementary and senior citizens.
I will say I love the fact that you guys, when you talk about the scholarship, it's for high school seniors, for sure, but there is that big gap where people aren't paying attention to those who want to return to get their education. I know a lot of us have gotten degrees that maybe don't necessarily make sense for what we do now, and improving that. So when did that change, or when did that start happening for you guys that you saw that need?
About 20 years ago.
Oh, wow. So you were ahead of the curve.
Well, we wanted, because we're a women's group primarily, we thought, why not have one scholarship or more, but one indeed, set aside for a woman who wants to return to the workforce and doesn't have their credentials or the schooling. And we had one member who passed away during her membership with us, and she was a CPA. So her husband said, let me contribute to that, and we'll have one scholarship set aside for a woman who wants to return to get her CPA or to accounting. And so we started that about 20 years ago, and we've continued doing not just for CPA or accounting degrees, but a real estate license, for example, or any woman who wanted to return to the workplace and needed a credential to do that.
So would that even be applicable for like some continuing education courses?
Yes,
so because sometimes it's not a credential or a degree, but it's the knowledge you're going to receive from that class.
Yes, and part of the problem is getting the word out. If people don't go to our website, they don't realize that we give scholarships not just to high school seniors. And the other thing about the high school senior scholarships, we don't do it based on GPA necessarily, but we like to do it on volunteer work and volunteerism. So we do take into account those students who have a wonderful GPA and recognize they're superstars. But we also want to recognize those people who may not have the GPA, but have volunteered in a variety of ways to their community.
Well, I think that also kind of builds the growth potential for our community. So when you're looking at that, of course we want smart kids. We want those who work hard and get good grades, but it's those kids who are volunteering or taking that extra step to make an impact. It kind of translates to all the volunteers who are at the Troy Women's Association.
Yeah. It's funny because we started from the JCs. Our motto was the JC Creed. And I want to read that because it really relates to what we are all about, too. It says, "We believe that faith in God gives meaning and purpose to human life, that the brotherhood of man transcends the sovereignty of nations, that economic justice can best be won by free men through free enterprise, that government should be of laws rather than of men, that Earth's great treasure lies in human personality, and that service to humanity is the best work of life." And really what we dedicate ourselves to in Troy Women's Association, we call it TWA, is that we want to give service back to our community and make our community more healthy, more fruitful, and have that pass on from generation to generation. We have a couple of legacy members in our organization, mothers and daughters, and that's a nice thing to have because then we can share that together.
Well, it also kind of speaks to the organization that as the family grows, so does the organization.
Yes.
So I guess, how long have you been with the organization? And tell us a little bit about why you're still there. You must love it.
Yeah. Since 1978.
Oh, wow.
When we moved here to Troy, our daughter was 3 years old. And she was in school, and my husband worked nights, and I worked days, and I had free time in the evening. My mom and dad lived here, too, and they would love watching her. She's an only child. So I started volunteering. And TWA, my husband joined the JCs, and I joined the JC Wives, and we did things together, and it was a family affair. And so I just kept going and just didn't seem to stop. I guess they hooked me in and never got rid of me.
Well, I think that's a good thing because obviously you were my very first introduction to the organization. And seeing your action and seeing how much you guys are really making an impact on the community is just completely inspiring. So I could see why you wouldn't want to leave.
Well, all the money we make from Elf Shelf, all of that, we're like a pass-through organization. That's the way I see it. Because all the money we get, we give away. And our members can decide how we give that money away. Every year we meet in May and decide what projects we want to fund and if we want to increase the budget or decrease, depending on how we do at Elf Shelf. And during COVID, we actually kept half of that money back so that we wouldn't be impacted the next year. So we only had to reduce those projects instead of just eliminating them the following year. Because we don't have office space, we don't have any paid staff people. We're all volunteers.
Every dollar matters.
Every dollar matters. And so we just reduced their budgets so we could fund them the next year. And they were really grateful for that.
Yeah.
One of the favorite projects that we have is called Mitten Tree, or Winter Warmers. It used to be Mitten Tree. We put Christmas trees up in various places in the city, City Hall, and the library and the community center. And we asked the community to place mittens, hats, scarves, gloves, socks, whatever. And we collect almost 1,000 pieces of those
wow.
items, and then we give them to various entities that may need them. One of our favorites, of course, is Grace Centers of Hope.
We love them, obviously.
We know. We've given to them for many, many years. And then there's lots of different places that the committee decides to give the mittens and hats and gloves and scarves to, but mostly to help the homeless population. And we have a knitting group, one of the ones I belong to, which is part of TWA. There are 10 women. And last year we made over 90 articles for the year to give away to the homeless.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so hats and scarves and baby blankets, too. We knit baby blankets for new moms who are deciding, what to do in their life with their new baby, and give those when they get their first ultrasound.
Well, I'm a horrible knitter, but I can start making some scarves in one color. So
no problem. We can provide the yarn because that's part of our budget.
I love it. Well, this is a good moment to take a quick break and hear a word from our presenting sponsor, Trion Solutions. We'll be right back.
My name is Kamal Shuhaib. I am the owner of Choice Properties and the Choice Group, and we do business in 5 states. We started dealing with Trion about 10 years ago, and they were highly recommended. We like to deal with companies that care about the community that they do business with, and we feel Trion does that because we witness the wonderful things that they do for the community on so many levels. And that is why we rely on Trion.
You can always rely on Trion.
And welcome back to Mission Impactful, presented by Trion Solutions. So we are here with Ann from Troy Women's Association. So we talked a little bit about some of the programs and events, but you guys do have one giant fundraising event that you guys are pretty well known for. It's called Elf Shelf?
Elf Shelf Arts and Crafts Show, yes, ma'am.
Talk me a little bit about this because I know it's known statewide.
Yes.
It's a very big deal.
It is a big deal, and we've been very lucky to have this juried show since 1971.
Oof.
I had to check my dates. It's been in a variety of locations, but most recently we're at Troy High School.
Okay.
And we always hold it the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Which means that people are accustomed to that. It's like when we celebrate this Shop Local event for the community. And we have over 200 crafters or tables that we rent out. And we make money both by renting the table spaces. The crafters love their table spaces, and by the admission fee to get into the show. We serve a wonderful lunch to all the people who are there, and it's been a great success for us. And without Elf Shelf, we wouldn't be able to do any of the things that we do for the community because that's our only source of income.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. Yep. We have membership dues
For sure.
for $24 a year, but that wouldn't go very far with 40 members.
Not so much, no.
So that'd pay for mailing maybe. That's about it. So the craft show is the only source of income we have for the projects that we support.
So what kind of vendors would someone see at one of these events?
They have to be handmade or handcrafted. We don't. Everything has to be handmade.
Okay.
And actually, we've eliminated some people who've tried to sneak in things that were not handmade. So, but we do jury them, so we know what we're getting beforehand. If we don't jury in person, we have photos sent to us. So they're craft items that range from handmade T-shirts or sweatshirts to really elaborate wooden items that when you see them set up, the jewelry people come in with this little box and they set up on their table and then the people who have big items like the signs and everything else come in with huge displays that they have. So you feel sorry for those people, although
they better have the big trucks.
They do. Yeah. The only downside is that it's a long walk from Troy High School to the parking lot. So we have our local youth groups help out by providing support for the crafters who want to bring their items in.
So what you're telling me is your volunteer-led organization also has volunteers to come help. I love how you engage the community.
We couldn't do that without our volunteers. Yeah. And we're always looking for more support for Elf Shelf, in a variety of ways. We have sponsors. We have our members now going out and recruiting sponsors for Elf Shelf because the school charges us money to rent that space.
Oh, for sure.
And, that's right. I mean, we're using their facilities and their staff on a Saturday and a Friday night to set up. And so our members who go out and solicit from people in the community, businesses, more than pay for the school. So that really cuts down our overhead, our costs, so that all the money we make, goes directly back to the community. It doesn't have to pay for the putting on the event.
Which is great. So I guess that's another question I have. So you brought up that you have your membership dues, and then also you have Elf Shelf. Are there other ways people can contribute to Troy Women's Association or
For
ways
sure.
to stay engaged?
Oh, yeah. We have a website,
Okay.
troywomensassociation.org, and there are you can donate there if you'd like to, or you can become involved as a member. We meet once a month, except in the summertime, and we don't,
Summer
and people-
break, we all get it.
Yeah, we like that. And we don't ask much of our members except to be available to work for Elf Shelf. And if they can't show up at our monthly meetings, which are the first Tuesday of the month at the Boys and Girls Club,
Okay.
7 o'clock, if they can't show up to a meeting, that's okay, because there are other ways for them to become engaged in our process. And if they're not going to be here because they're out of town on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, then there are a variety of ways ahead of time that they can be involved in Elf Shelf, either by soliciting sponsors or by advertising, a variety of ways.
Well, and it's nice to hear because obviously earlier we talked a little bit about how fiscally responsible you guys are. Obviously, when you guys went through COVID and you decided to take the money and make sure some would be in the next year just to keep things safe, you're really paying attention to the dollars, which also means you're really paying attention to the impact that you're able to give every year.
We know the impact that we have on the programs that we support, and we actually choose to support local programs more than the national ones,
Yeah.
because we know our dollars go farther locally than they would on a national level. And that's why we really resonate with Grace Centers of Hope and local communities. The Bottomless Toy Chest is another one we do, where we wrap toys that are given. The toys are given to us, and we wrap them, and then they are taken to the hospitals for Children's Hospital and for kids.
Yeah.
And we just have to say whether it's a boy toy, or a girl toy, and it's a fun project for our members to be hands-on.
Yeah.
We have two kinds of projects: ones that are just writing a check, and some people just like to do that.
And that's a great project to have, is to
Yes.
write you a check.
Yes. Well, we write checks to,
For
certain
sure.
people, and that works. But we also have some hands-on projects, like the knitting for, Baby Basics. That's a hands-on project. And Bound Together, we have people who go out to Pontiac to tutor those kids that need tutoring. So that's a hands-on project. So there's a variety of ways to get involved with Troy Women's Association, and it doesn't take much time or energy, really, and it's all dependent on how much time or energy you want to give.
I love it. Well, Ann, is there any last bit of information or anything you'd like to share with our listeners today?
Just that I've enjoyed my membership, and I'm a lifetime member, not just because it's been a lifetime since I've joined,
Yeah.
but it seems that way. It's a wonderful organization, and it's women supporting women. And I think in this day and age, that's an important part of our culture. We rely on each other. We socialize together. We just had a game night last week at my house, actually. It was Bunko.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Bunko was so confusing to me. But we had a member.
But fun?
Oh, yes, we always have fun when we get together. But we had a member who had experience in Bunko. So she lives in White Lake now, or someplace
Yeah.
way out in Oakland County. But she came back and said, I'll lead you in Bunko. And we actually had a wonderful time and wonderful treats and snacks. So it's a great way to get involved with other women and also to support your community, because we really believe that community organizations really help the community thrive.
100%. Well, Ann, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you spending your time
Thank you,
with
Tara.
us.
We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Ann, for joining us. And that's all we have here today on Mission Impactful, presented by Trion Solutions. To learn more about the Troy Chamber of Commerce or our nonprofit network, go to troychamber.com. And I hope today you make it your mission to create a positive impact. Thanks, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.